Basically, for episode 2, I'm just gonna get caught up on Critical Role episodes. I'm gonna do commentary on them and talk about what I like and don't like. And also, I am now doing charity for Extra Life charity for Children's Hospital. This is something that's a cause that's near and dear to my heart because of my own children have had a lot of difficulties in their earlier life when they were babies, and we had to take them to the hospital a lot. And our local BC Children's Hospital was very excellent in their service and just general care. And so I wanted to do something with my gaming to give back to that. So here is my Extra Life donations page, and if you come here you can click on donate. This information is in my tweet and also in now in my Twitch info. And also, well, actually you can get to this one by going to this link, which is a little bit longer. I'll post that somewhere else. That was in my Twitter post today. And also in my Facebook, I have a Facebook page for this as well. You can click on donate here and get the same thing as you would from clicking donate here. So just two different ways to get involved and help out the hospital. So I'm gonna give away some games as well when I have my D&D streams, and that'll I'll when I do those game giveaways, I'm also gonna donate additionally to this charity. So I'm gonna keep this going. It'll be ongoing. Right now the goal is to get to 100, and once I make that goal, I will make a new goal and see if we can get to the next milestone. So I'm really excited about that. I haven't done any charity work before. This is my first time, so bear with me and try and help me out there. Thanks. Okay, on to the Critical Role. So I talked a bit last time about my history with Critical Role. I've been a fan since early on in campaign 1, and I got really invested in the show, the people, the everything about it.
Do you like playing tabletop?
Commercials. Let me just mute this for a sec. Get past this commercial. But I've been really involved in Critical Role as far as watching it since they started. I started in the middle, or not the middle, but early part of the campaign 1, and I went back and watched right from the beginning, got caught up, and then I've been watching ever since. And I watched all the way through campaign 1. I laughed, I cried. It was amazing. I originally thought, why would anyone watch someone else play D&D instead of just playing D&D themselves? And watching these guys play D&D is like watching, you can play football, but if you watch pro football, you see how the pros do it. So these guys are excellent. They're great actors. They're great role players, and they're just having fun just like the rest of us. So it's really cool to see that. I watched season 2 or campaign 2, and it was a bit of a rocky start for me. I liked where they ended up with it. It was really it built up. There's a few slow points in there, but it built up and it came to a satisfying conclusion. And so I had really high hopes for campaign 3, given that they had done so much. They've had so much success, just to see what that might have done for them to help them. And they've definitely stepped up their game. I'll just get into it. Episode 1 kind of blew me away for it being different and also still being the same. I love that about Critical Role. They do something different every time, and you may not get it at first, but when you get into it, you get used to it. This one I was invested from right off the get-go. So I'm gonna do these walkthroughs by following, excuse me, following Mr. Flando Mallory. My throat. Hang on a sec. I'll take a drink. La la la. Okay, better. All right. I'm taking Mr. Flando Maltrizian. Maltrizian? Yeah. He does a lot of these lists of what happened in the episode. And I'm just going to go through it and just say the stuff that I really like. First off, I'll just start at the beginning and play a little bit of that. So right off the bat, let's put a little bit of volume on. I was really excited to see this. It was a long wait. They took quite a bit of time off. I watched the Exandria Unlimited series, and it was great. I'll do a commentary on that later.
And I'm super excited. Yeah. So hello everyone. Thank you to come join us. All the critters.
Still a little bit awkward. I love that. He's a regular person.
That are here for the first
time. He's very humble. Love Matt Mercer.
Before we jump into tonight's episode and kick this campaign off, we do have some announcements to get through.
These announcements
we're gonna get through as fast as possible,
always
it's been a while.
Are designed for entertainment.
But let's begin with our sponsor.
Been a while.
Hit Point Press. Sam.
The first ad of campaign 3, so buckle up.
Sam's ads, man. I just love these.
Death is very likely. The folks at Hit Point Press have the campaign setting for you. Shut up. Based on the popular YouTube animated series by Dingo Doodles, Fool's Gold: Into the Bellowing Wilds is a high-level jungle-themed setting in which you can uncover the mysteries of the world's deadliest jungle, face new monsters like sheep and ducks, and tinker with new alchemy to create over 1 million very questionable potions. It contains heaps.
But he does a bit after this. I'll just jump to the.
But tonight, sticking to the script. That's it.
Really?
No, Matt, of course not. I wrote a Broadway musical that the sponsor did not ask for and has never seen before, and I'm going to perform it for you.
So anyway, I won't show the whole thing, but he basically did like a whole Broadway musical. I can't believe he got Mary Elizabeth involved, and it was bad in all the right ways. Like just terrible stuff that Sam is so good at. This stuff, man. What is this? As soon as I saw this, I was like, okay, he took it to a new level. That's standard Sam.
Now someone sponsors me.
I can't believe she did this in this crazy like nightgown and stuff. She's definitely a great fan of the show, star of the show. I love her character Zara. It's awesome. And just for this episode, like everything is going to be spoilers, so don't even watch this if you haven't seen campaigns 1 and 2 or 3 up to the latest episode. I could spoil it anytime. Oh man, that was so good. Anyway, he just never disappoints. Like every time you think, oh, what could he do more? He's there with something like more ridiculous than the last time. So indulgent enough. Yeah, exactly. Marisha,
you have some.
Oh yes.
Always great.
Hello.
Hello. Look at these guys. They've been doing this for like so many years, and they still seem like amateurs, but still professional at the same time. I love that. And let's just jump ahead. So Ashley talks about the foundation.
Of the Critical Role Foundation. Okay. Yes.
No, don't make it a thing. Don't make it a thing.
You know, making this episode about charity. Each one of them just keeps the theme up of just being bad at their jobs when they're not really. Love that.
I think it's that one. Okay.
Still pretty North Canada. And they just have so much fun with it. It's just so good. Okay, and then Laura does the merch, and then announcement. Yeah, they're working on a new intro. I'm gonna jump ahead to
first episode of
A Critical Role. And this is like nice and all, but you know, I can't wait to they're gonna have a hard time topping It's My Turn to Roll, because that theme was just like, just gives you goosebumps. It was so like on point for them, and just it epitomized everything about them. Like, it's a musical song, you know, written by them, sung by them. You know, Sam's involved, all the girls are involved. It's like beautifully sung. The bass line of that, I just love that song. So they're gonna have a tough time topping that for this season. That's probably why they've gotten already to episode 5 that they haven't put in something. But previous season campaigns they've done that. So who knows? We'll see. New intro. Episode starts. Here we go. And
I would like to welcome you to Marquette. The year is 843 PD, or post-divergence.
Okay, he's going to go into a long description of the episode where they start. Marquette, talking about geography and names, blah blah blah. It's great. Matt never ceases to be able to describe and give exposition without sounding, you know, like, I have to say my own exposition is probably pretty boring, but his stuff always seems interesting. And then after they do this, an interesting choice. They have everybody leave, and then they start with one group of the players.
I would like Laura and Marisha to remain at the table while the rest of you exit, if you don't mind.
And this is the start of a bit of a chat problem. People start to get like, when are the other characters going to come in? I was watching this live, and they were like freaking out for the longest time, like all the way up to the break. Travis's character didn't come in. It was pretty hilarious to me. I knew he was going to come in. It's not like he would come to the table and not show up, but how he showed up just kind of was interesting and surprising. And I'd forgotten who the character was. So I'll pause this. They're going to go into introducing the characters. They get a little bit of backstory on Imogen and Laudna. I'll just say, in the past, it's taken a while for Marisha's characters to grow on me. Keyleth a little easier, but still she can be, you know, kind of, she kind of played the innocence card a little too long, but she was funny and awkward and, you know, appealing to gamers, right? So I liked that character. But then when she came in with Bo, I immediately disliked her character, and I didn't enjoy the first few episodes of the second campaign until I started to the characters were abrasive and not what I was expecting. I wanted more of, you know, I'd been with the first season, the first campaign for so long that I kind of just wanted the same characters, like probably a lot of critters wanted that. But then they started to grow on me, but Marisha's character, Bo, took the longest amount of time for me to kind of like and then eventually love the character. So she was the toughest for me. Jester, I immediately liked Jester. She was spot on. Laura can do no wrong with her character choices. In fact, I would say that Imogen is kind of the weakest of her characters so far, but I know she's got a lot of potential because she's playing, for a change, kind of a quiet character that fades into the background. So that's a cool move for her, because she's always been in the front and in the spotlight. So I think a step back for her, it helps the other players, and that's a pro player tip. definitely, if you are the best role player at the table or the most experienced player at the table, definitely take a role that allows you to step back and allow the newer players or the people who haven't played as much or who might be a little more shy to give them a chance to step to the forefront and be get out of their shells a little bit more before you take an active role. So good on her. Laudna, oh my god, for the first time, Marisha just blew me away. Love this character. She's creepy. She's, kind of crazy in a sort of Drusilla from Buffy, or like from the Barbara of Fleet Street. The one, Mrs. Muggin? No, was it the one who makes the pies? Anyway, just like that, like a character from a Tim Burton movie. She's just totally interesting and creepy and a bit of a scene stealer, to tell you the truth. Everyone's getting involved in her character by doing a bunch of creepy sounds when she talks and does her spells. It's pretty cool. Love that character. So Laura introduces Imogen. She's kind of shy. She's kind of she's got the southern accent, which I know Laura's really good at and likes doing that voice. Marisha's character voice for this is spot on. She's hit it out of the park with this character, I have to say. Then, like, just watch this.
Goodness, don't fuck this up.
Love this.
You see a also youngish looking woman, not as young as Imogen over here. Long, scraggly, dark hair with a shock of white going through the top of her bangs. She has it pulled back into
Total
half
Tim
a
Burton
bun
character.
with a rock chisel holding it up. Her
Chisel.
skin is pale, and her eyes are big, a little bulbous with dilated pupils, almost
So
doll-like.
creepy.
Her lips are dark, and she's wearing tattered, scraggly clothes, a black skirt, and a
She's even talking in the voice while she's
blood
describing her
maroon
character.
blouse. You can see she's very thin, gaunt,
She thought about this a lot, you can
and
tell.
around her belt, with some tools and odds and ends, is a dead rat with a
And
bird
a warlock
skull.
sorcerer. Like,
I
that's
made
an
it
interesting
myself.
combo.
Gross.
Love it. Okay, and then so they do their little thing. They're trying to get into a school. Not sure why they haven't really got into that, but they're living in the Marquette city of Spires. I'm not sure what. I haven't seen any fan art of this yet. I really want to see it. It looks really. The descriptions that Matt gives of the city are amazing. They're so cool. All these like trolleys and like steampunk kind of stuff. It's really cool. Not what I expected from Marquette. I thought it was going to be more grounded and kind of Egyptian feeling, like Cairo kind of. And so it kind of surprised me, and in a good way. Let's see, what's this?
Before, and you recall her name to be the Ascritore Cunthia.
Oh yeah, they're trying to get into the library. You can't get in there.
That, all we want to do is learn. All we want to do is find out some information.
My feet, bloody, blistered, on the bottom.
That's not what
From walking here.
Yeah,
So far.
we don't need to learn about her feet necessarily.
They're
Yeah,
very
yeah.
gross.
Imogen
Can I
is
just, like,
a
open up
Psionicus
my
type person. I'm
my
not sure
mind a little bit
if
and
she just
see-
has a feat.
Rise of the Halflings is the first in a series of
Alright. Oh, that looks pretty cool. Yeah, ads, man. There's some good ads on my list of things. I don't know. I get interesting ads that I like to watch. So this looks really cool. I haven't seen this ad before. Yeah, 3D printing. It's so cool. I want to make some miniatures. Look at these cities and stuff. Like, anyway, back to Critical Role. So we got them in the city. So the thing I like about this is that they don't care about standard. Like in a D&D game, if this was my D&D game, I would not have people sitting off to the side for this long. Like, look at this. It's already 34 minutes into the show. It's about 20 minutes of game time. They're getting a full front seat to do their thing and as much time as they need. Granted, this is an entertainment show, so the players are kind of secondary to the actual entertainment value. I get that. But I do like that they take this time. In a normal game, you wouldn't do this because you don't want to have people who, are there to play, have showed up, and then they're sitting there while two people play and the rest of them sit around. So good in a show, not so good in an actual game. So don't do this if you're DM and you're just starting out. Even if you're streaming, I wouldn't do this even in a regular stream unless you're Critical Role or you have thousands of people watching you. That's great. Who's this?
So, the fact that it hasn't happened yet.
Mrs., excuse me, so sorry. And you turn over and you can see one of the Qatari folk, kind of lion-like in appearance, with
they have a lot of cool races in this
kind
world.
Of medium brown mane,
the elephant people,
pulled back and kind of put over the shoulders, and it goes around the mid-back or so, with a very light kind of tan fur coloration in the face, thinner for a Qatari. Approaches with a colorful blouse on what looks to be a small kind of hand-carried carp,
that
manner of jewelry.
is a DM skill that all DMs should work on, including myself.
Sorry to bother you, but I had to say this would look incredible on either one of you or both of you if you're interested. You have
I definitely subscribe to this. The character. I'm more of a character DM, so I go for having interesting characters over anything else. But his descriptions are way beyond what I usually do, so I try to work on that to get the simplest situation. You walk into a tavern, describe it, make it interesting, make it more than just like every other tavern. So, or I mean, whenever these guys go shopping, it's an experience. There's no okay, we open the PHP and we look in there and see, yeah, there's a bunch of equipment we can buy. We list out the things we want to buy and then we buy them. That's not interesting to watch. But when they go to a shop, the shopkeeper is interesting. The shopkeeper has a style, a personality. He might be hostile, he might be friendly, or he might be just, pretending to be friendly and then trying to rip them off. That stuff happens in this show. It's really good. Let's jump to
a colorful blouse on what looks to be a small kind of hand-carried cart with all manner of jewelry made of nuts and pieces of wood that have been carved. And he goes, sorry to bother you, but I had to say this would look incredible on either one of you or both of you if you're interested. You have some great sense, but, accessorizing is what it's all about. I'm just saying.
I'm just going to hold on to my coin purse.
Yeah.
Any interest? That's a special price this afternoon. This. It's locking eyes on you and starting to kind of scoot a little bit away.
I think we're fine.
You sure it's special?
She's doing it without role playing it out. She's looking like she would look.
Together. It looks okay.
I think we're fine.
He's reading it. He's reading their personalities from their faces.
On your way if you'd like. Takes it and places it in his cart and quickly picks it up and moves off. Excuse me, miss.
This is why face to face is there's a bit lost in
at this point. Lana, you notice
games where you aren't face to face. Like our games, we have the players up here in the left side of the screen, but we usually use a picture because or people are using a virtual character, animated character, and it's just not the same because you can look someone in the eye and get their a bit of acting cue from that. So the show is really good at that kind of thing because they act together all the time, and they, even voice actors do this. They work way better when they have other voice actors working with them. I don't know this for sure, but I've heard that they go into the studio sometimes and they have them play off of each other at the same time. Obviously with COVID it's been a little bit less, but that's a kind of thing that voice acting is very similar to regular acting. They do you know, they in some shows they actually record the faces of the actors while they're doing their acting parts to kind of get cues for the animators to use in the animated show. So I'm really, you can see that these people are experienced actors, like just looking at their faces and the way they act when they're playing their characters. I love it. I wish I had more. You know, I wish more people could have acting training when they go to play D&D, but the other side also works. You play a lot more D&D, you get a lot more ability at acting. So I would love to work in voice acting. This is kind of a thing I've always wanted, but my current job pays more than I would make in voice acting. So it's kind of like a, you know, a fantasy dream that may or may not happen. Let's jump ahead to... Oh yeah, she was going to be scary here. I haven't seen
There's
that.
a pair of dwarven children that are kind of off the side of this small alley that are just kind of staring right at you. You both kind of get spooked and kind of retract, but not completely out of the way.
What'd you see?
It's two kids. A little spooked, it seems. Where did they go? Are they still looking?
They're still looking. They feel like they hid, but they're still kind of peeking around the side of the corner.
I'm curious. Hang on.
Let's jump ahead to Sam and Taliesin.
They both kind of immediately...
This... you know that she's scary. It's like, that's the thing.
I'm so
Now,
ready.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
when they join... So, a lot of people are saying they don't like Talison's character, and I love this new character. I've loved all of Talison's characters
Flutter open.
right off the bat.
Familiar.
He is the coolest, I think, person in the game. Maybe next to Liam, but the fact that he showed, I would love to see Taliesin and Liam kind of link up as a pair of characters. But we got Sam and Taliesin, which is a good combo we haven't seen too much of yet. So just Sam's character, I gotta catch this because
Torn tapestries.
I had no idea what to expect from him because he's so
Gems
crazy.
and beads of no worth that give a character to it. The place has a very vibrant, whatever
Alright,
you find at the bottom of the
sometimes
gutter,
the
it's all
descriptions
home.
take a little long,
Here in
but-
the cookhouse, it's home. You're not sure what time it is. It could be 4 in the morning. It could be 4 in the afternoon. No light makes its way.
Okay, let's go.
Would you
Taliesin,
like to
describe his
yourself,
character.
Ashton, he, they are an earth genasi with green stone skin and a dark purple crystal hair.
See the picture? There we go. Look
The
at this.
shorter end of things.
So, I like that he is choosing to do a he/they character, but I'm an old school guy. I'm trying to understand how these things work in the modern day. I want to be appreciative of people and understanding of people, but I don't know what he/they means. I understand they, them, but I don't understand he, they, or she, they, because I don't... What are they... Like, what are they trying to do with that? Like, you want to be called he, so you have a choice of a gender, but then you want to be called they when you're not around. Like, I don't really get that, why someone would want to do that. So, if someone in the chat can explain that to me, please do, because I'm curious and I want to understand things. I'm not hating on it. I just want to understand, like, how does that work? And I would love to be more inclusive of that kind of stuff in my game. I'm trying to make that a thing, because I'm a he, him, and I don't know much about the other ones, so except for she, her. But if you want to enlighten me on what all the variations are, please do. Anyway, so he's and I can talk about him like this, but when do I say they? Okay, anyway, let's skip that. So he's an interesting character, an Earth Genasi. We haven't seen one of those in the campaign yet. I love this crystalline hair. That's so cool. this wound in his head. We haven't found out anything about that yet. That's really interesting. People are not liking this character a little bit, I think, because having a really smart character like, or a smart person like Taliesin playing, you know, first of all, a low charisma. I don't know how he can play a low charisma character. He says he's an asshole, but he's just not. He can't. Even when he said that about his previous characters, it's like he's trying to roleplay this, but he has a hard time. He is very charming, and no matter what he does, that's going to be tough. He's actually decent intelligence. He got some good scores here. So I think he was tired of playing the sort of smart, clever kind of character, or wise character. So he wanted to play something a little different. I understand that. Going straight into Barbarian, it's like, yeah, that's a powerful class. He's going to have some fun with that. So I don't knock him for taking this choice at all. He's definitely a very interesting and punky kind of barbarian, so I like that. He doesn't seem like your typical barbarian with furs and, like, you know, being primitive. He's a character who has rage, and that's his defining you know, power. So we'll see more about him, but I initially liked this character a lot right off the bat. So finish his description.
They're wearing an awful lot of leather that looks like they've been wearing it for a very, very long time. With
he's trying to justify the low charisma.
They've got leather pouches, a bit of everything to keep little bits and pieces together.
See, this is where I don't get it. He said this is a he-them character. So he is saying, he could easily say he here because he's talking about him in the third person. So why does he say they? I don't get it. I still don't understand the rules for that. Anyway, help me out, somebody.
Piercings made mostly of nails.
I love the piercings and nails. That's cool.
Very obviously, a giant hole in the left side of their head.
What is this?
Filled with slag glass, and beneath the slag glass, there's a little bit of an opalescent brain that can be seen through. One of the eyes on the cracked side is milky, like a tiger's eye gem. The cracks run most of the upper left side of the body.
They're loving this description.
Patched together with what looks like slag melted gold to
I feel like
piece everything
they
together.
made their characters together. These two, each group made their characters together. So this is like the first they're experiencing these.
Decorated jacket, the words "just don't."
And I think I love that. His attitude is so punk. I love it.
Big glass hammer that they carry around that very, very gently, just around the base of it, says "fuck off."
That is perfect. That description, you don't need more than that. You understand this character right away. Okay, let's jump to what's this first?
Could have used that. That's okay. Have you seen fresh cut grass around?
Motherfucker.
He knows about it.
Hey!
That can't be the first they've heard of it.
As you are just kind of milling about, taking in the space, impatient for anything to happen, but not quite ready to do anything on your own, you hear Milo shout out on the rousing sounds of Ashton around the corner. If you would like to describe yourself.
Sure. Wheeling into the room is a short automaton with yellow metallic skin, a cute little backpack. He's got they has two big blue eyes of different shapes. He's got a wheel that he rolls around on. On his chest plate are.
One thing I'll say, good for them for trying to include more people. Like, that was one of the big things about the first season. first campaign, they were already an inclusive group, and they wanted to be more inclusive. Granted, they're all white, but that just happens to be how their friend group is, so that's who they are. But including alternate genders and alternate lifestyles, like that, campaign 2 had a lot more of that, and it's refreshing and nice to see, and it's helping normalize that stuff in the world as well as in the gaming world. So there are a lot of people of different lifestyles that are in gaming, and that is a good thing, and I'm glad that that is the case. I wish I knew more people like that. I would love to be more involved in that kind of stuff, but you know, I'm learning as I go. Cool. Let's hear more of this.
Are 4 stripes that sort of look like blades of grass down his chest plate, and yeah, he's a robot.
A robot.
And as he wheels into the room,
yes.
Well, smiley day there.
Smiley day.
Ash.
Okay, so this character, man, every season, like, my favorite character is Scanlan. Like, way off the bat, like right first thing that got me into the show, the first episode I watched, Scanlan just definitely took my attention. And Sam is so funny. I love him. And then when he introduced Not, I was like, come on, you're gonna do that voice the whole time? And he stuck with that. Mostly. He was, you know, a little rougher in the beginning, and then he kind of smoothed it out. But then when you find out what Not is, and how Not became that, that was... He has a good way of, like, bringing you something funny and then putting something with depth in it that isn't just, you know, like what you see on the surface. So he has a humor, and he has a you know, likes to make people laugh, and likes to, like, make little quips at the other characters. Not was great at bugging Ford. Love that. And also his real world anachronisms that throws into the game, you know, much more with Scanlan and the songs, but continued with Not and, you know, Ford Tough and stuff like that. It was great. So this character, totally new, totally different, but so Sam, and picking Cleric with this sort of whatever it is, like trying to help people vibe, maybe emotionally, maybe healing, I don't know, we'll see, but he's definitely got a cool thing there. So this I love this character. This is one of my favorites again, as usual. I expected that from Sam.
I've been sort of waiting here on standby, waiting for your designation.
Doing a voice like Imogen too, so I got two like Western sounding voices. Okay, nothing more needs to be said about that. That's just classic Sam. Great humor. Alright, let's jump ahead to... I believe in you. What is this?
That when auditions are being held or anything?
What do you want from me?
Oh, this character. So this NPC, they got this NPC who is a wannabe actor, and I'm sure they must know somebody who is like this, who keeps saying they're going to be doing something but never does it. And he keeps asking him about it, like trolling this character. Great. I love that kind of recurring character idea. He hates birds.
Step into the main road, fresh cut grass. As you glance by, you can see a flock of birds going through the gentle clouds and hear the sounds of people taking care of their business throughout the surrounding bustling thoroughfare. Somebody dumps a piss bucket out the side of their door and just coats you.
Why? Why would they do this?
Sorry, I was in your way. I apologize.
Other characters of Sam's would not have taken that so nicely. definitely showing his different type of character here. And let's jump ahead.
It's really it's no skin off my teeth. I don't have skin or teeth, so it's really fine.
Lots of jokes about not eating and stuff like that. It's
All
great.
right, let's.
Vicious bodyguard.
I've seen a couple of them come through here, but this one's quite small. You might want to get your money back.
They're complicated.
Rise of the Halflings is the first in a series of fully realized settlements that make up
really
the
cool.
larger world.
All right.
This is fresh cut grass, please.
Smiley day to you.
Smiley day.
It's a lovely establishment you got here. Is this owner operated, or is this your place?
It is, yeah.
Be careful what you say. They're very vicious.
Fantastic.
Fuck you up.
The ambiance is really nice. The clientele looks varied, and I'm impressed that you're so busy midday like this.
All right.
I make them less injured. That sort of thing.
Oh, well, stick around till past sunset tonight. There'll be plenty of injured people, probably.
Oh,
so,
yeah? I'm also keen to meet people who, well, have a lack in their life and try to figure out what it is and see if I can help them fill it.
Okay, now it got weird.
Oh, sorry.
He wants to be a therapist. Yes, that's quite clever. Eating
Copper
copper.
pieces?
So he
This
he
is a
eats
conundrum.
metal and it helps him heal. That's kind of interesting. I don't think that's a standard part of war. He's playing a Warforged basically, so I like this version of a Warforged. It's definitely interesting to see different types of Warforged. We haven't seen any Warforged, I don't think, in Matt's campaign at all. So as NPCs or as players, so I like this as a concept to show that you can be whatever you want in any world. That's the thing, if you're running a game and you want your player wants to be something that you haven't put into your game, you can either say no, that's not my game, or you could say yes, but it's very rare. So I lean towards the second option because getting the player to be happy with their character is way more important than your D&D world and what it's like. So if they want to play that, you can warn them and say, you know, that we don't have any of these in this world, but you could, like in his case, he has a creator that died. That creator created a bunch of these automatons, and it didn't have to be a whole part of the world. It's just this one person created these creatures. So you can be unique in that way, and it's good for the players to be unique. You know, unless they want to be a stealth group where they're trying to like hide themselves, but you know, you can give them things to hide themselves anyway. So letting the players kind of do the concept they want to do makes them happier and makes your game more interesting. So it's win-win.
We're gonna need to patch you up every now and then.
Am I going to be a regular at a tavern?
If you like.
Will they do that thing when I roll in and where they all go, fresh cut grass, and everyone's just happy to see me?
Norm. That's from Cheers. Definitely. These guys are about my age. New players.
Ashley and Robbie come to the table.
Oh,
Shit.
Travis changed his name to Robbie.
Oh, shit. Hey.
Okay, so I'm gonna jump ahead on this. First of all,
Who is
a
this
couple things
now?
here. So, if you haven't watched Exandria Unlimited, you wouldn't know who these characters are, but they were in Exandria Limited. I loved that show. I thought it was too short. 8 episodes was cool, but I think Abria could have used a few more episodes to kind of conclude her, or not even conclude her story, just get it to a better point of where she was trying to go. I don't think she accounted for how much derailment she was going to have. So seeing these characters join the team and be more... so there's a bunch of things to unpack here. So Liam's character was interesting in that because he was an understated fighter, which seems like a little bit of a boring choice for him. He's been like the most interesting character, like more gothy than Talison's characters, which, you know, Vax was way more gothy than Talison's character, even though Talison was playing kind of a dark character. And then in campaign 2, Liam was also a dark past character, and Talison's 2 characters were, you know, comparable, but these two seem to be in competition for that. So now, with him being well, he's in competition now with Marisha being the coolest with the Laudna craziness. And these two are usually like the big show, and having them step to the back a little bit to be a little bit less in front is a great move for them. I love it. And I think he really enjoyed the character that he played in Exandria Limited, so I think he wanted to bring that and explore it some more. Same goes for Fern. I mean, Fern is... It's the first time I've seen Ashley get into her character a lot more. I feel like Pike, because of her you know, work situation, she couldn't play Pike very often, and when she did, it was just kind of a ho-hum kind of cleric, and you know, pretty much standard cleric. And then with Yasha, it was a much more interesting character, but honestly, I think Matt enjoyed playing the character more than Ashley did, until maybe really late in the campaign she got kind of really into the character and got kind of found her footing. But again, her job was kind of keeping her distracted from being able to play the character, and it had to be an NPC for a long time, so she had a good backstory that Ashley was not mostly involved in creating, so it didn't seem for a while, I think, when she came back permanently, that it was her character, until she kind of grabbed it and made it her own again. But it was a very dark character, and could have been you know, a character that outweighed the cool factor of all the other characters, but she just played it as she played it a little bit too much like Pike, I think. And so seeing Fern, and who is that character that I think Ashley is good at playing, but also has this dark side of like being a little bit of a klepto, and has like a lot of, I don't know, weirdness to her because of being from the Feywild. I think that suits her the best so far of her characters, and I was really happy to see her bring that to this campaign, because I wanted to know more about that character, and I was very excited to see these guys come in and with their existing characters. So, and then Robbie, I was like, I didn't really know this guy from anybody. I liked him in Exandria Limited, but he seemed like kind of a background character in that show, or not really background, but he was just sort of there, and he didn't do a lot. He was good at role playing and had fun with that. I think he's a new role player, so cut him some slack for that. I saw his I just recently saw his back. He did a thing on what was it? Robbie, let me just look this up. What's his last name? Robbie Damon. Yeah, he did an Instagram like thing introducing himself and his family from the extra before the Exandria Unlimited, and I hadn't watched it. I just watched it recently, and I liked him already. He's a charismatic kind of guy. He is playing a bard, which is interesting. He's definitely not a Scanlan type bard. He's kind of a struggling musician type bard. But I liked when I saw his Instagram introduction of himself before the Exandria Unlimited series, so people could get to know him, and he introduced his family, and it's like, this guy is living the life that I would love to live. Basically, he's got a great family. I have a great family too. He is doing what he loves. He loves music and he loves voice acting. He's doing that. I love my job too, but I would love to be doing voice acting. So he reminds me a lot of me, and I love this guy. He's great. So I'm glad he's on the team. I don't know how long he's going to be there, but I hope it's for a good long time. And so these three coming in is great because they already have a backstory. I think they had to de-level a bit because this campaign is starting at level 3. But that's fine. Just bring them in. They're great characters. So I would have loved to have seen the other characters from Exandria Unlimited also, because I thought they were all great. Amy was a bit of a scene stealer, especially when they got to the that one hometown that she was from. But yeah, she would definitely fit in with this group well, just as well as he would. But you know, they're here. That's what they are. It's great. So these guys coming in was good. I don't think I have much more to say about it. Let's just see what they're doing. Yeah, let's just let them introduce their characters.
Nah, you lied. This isn't your basement.
This is gonna be a long episode. I think I'll do a really long one on episode 1, and then I'll expand a little bit less on the other ones, because this one's just so important with all the character introductions.
The 3 of you have been set on a trek, specifically tied to the Erishari. When a call was made to you after returning to Byroden and the rest of your found friends, you were given a task by the voice of the Tempest, Caleb.
Yeah, let's just jump to their introductions.
And so, do you mind describing Fern?
Yes. Fern is about a 6-foot tall fawn. Very, very long.
So fawn is also the same as a satyr.
And
so she has hoofed feet and backward curving legs.
Lots of flowers
and horns.
Toadstools and
she's
moss
very
on her hooves. And
cute, and
she has a little friend, Mister, and he's a little monkey.
The fire monkey is
That's
a cool
all.
touch as well for the Firewatch druid. I looked this up after I saw this character. I was like, oh, that's an interesting. Not Firewatch. It's something. Wildfire druid.
Excitement out to Orem, if you wouldn't mind me
Yeah,
describing
that's a cool concept, and I like it. She's so weak too. She's 7 feet tall, and she's strength 7. She's kind of the opposite of Yasha.
Shock of short brown hair. And he's wearing a little bit of brown leather armor, mostly a breastplate. And
oh yeah, and Orem is a halfling fighter
boots that have
with low strength, high dex. So more of a finesse fighder, which is interesting. I like it.
Of each one,
not the usual.
He has a short sword sheathed on his back, an ivy adorned shield on one hand, and the armor and the very well-worn sashes that are tied around his waist and hanging down have woven patterns of ivy and flower on them, and they're beautiful, but they're not fancy. They're just well-made and well-worn.
Another thing with Liam, he always plays a fairly serious character, although Vax was kind of had serious shit happen to him, but he always kept a kind of playful and sometimes violently confrontational attitude. So whereas Caleb is very introverted and nerdy, Orem seems to be a little bit more of the same. So I'm expecting more to come out of this character later. He seems very genuine and very good. So I think Liam's been playing sort of a dark kind of hero the past 2 times, so I like to see him play a more upfront good focused hero. So he's going to be the moral conscience of the group, which is good for him because that's been left to other people before, and it's no one's really taken up the slack in that area. So I think Liam will be a good moral compass.
And he has a full sleeve tattoo going up his arm that is all clouds from the wrist all the way up onto his shoulder and then disappearing under his armor onto his chest. And the two moons of Exandria are right here. Catha is a white crescent and Ruidus is a smaller full moon cradled within. And he is very fine features. He's really ropey muscles and slender, like a dancer.
Like a dancer.
Glancing past the edge of this wonderful vista before you as the city grows closer, this is the first journey any of you have taken in this country. It's certainly not the first time that you've...
Oh, I can't see the chat.
Dorian. This is an odd, if conflicted, return to a continent where you began your journey a long time ago.
Oh, he's from Marquette too. I forgot about that.
Describing Dorian.
Sure. Dorian is, for all intents and purposes, a normal bard. He's just in traveler's clothes.
This is a picture for him.
But if you were to first glance at him, what you would notice is how uncharacteristically clean he is. No mud on his boots. He has a large winged sort of armor plate that you can't really tell if it's ornamental or functional, and there's not a fingerprint on it. It's perfectly shiny. And he's wearing a long cape that has sort of a sunburst ombre that goes down the back. He's an Air Genasi, so he sort of moves with a lightness, and you might first mistake it for confidence, but it just seems like it's part of who he is and not so much what he wants to project. And
he should be better than he is for as a character because he has a good.
Sort of a top-knot
he should have put this
here,
stat into
also very pristine,
17 into charisma, but he doesn't need strength and con really as much.
As he sort of looks out over things,
inexperienced
he feels
character creation for a bard.
But this is a wild experience. Yeah.
He does have cool weapons though. They're part of his instruments, and he can detach them. It's kind of cool. I like that concept.
Between the 5 spires of Dressar, heading towards the Airy Spire, whereupon you can see from this distance the...
Alright, let's jump ahead. This is going to take a while, so I should try and wrap this up. So at this point, everybody's, and this is, you won't see the chat on the YouTube video, but in Twitch, the chat was just going nuts. Like, where's Travis? Where's Travis? How long is it going to take him to get here? They get all the way. Liam J. Robbie as Dorian. Crash landing, clapping on the runway. Yeah, this is... So
how do you suppose it stops? Like, I think I've understood how we've been going, but how does it stop? It looks like we're going too fast. Does it feel too fast?
I think we crash.
What?
I'm sure they've got it worked out.
All right.
Okay, and then...
Thank you. Everything's fine.
You'd think I'd be better at this, wouldn't you?
When the plane lands, then people clap.
People kind of
That's
watch and clap, not wanting to feel left out.
It's a good one.
You know, for some reason, this doesn't bother me like the ship did.
Really?
Yeah, I'm all right with this. Yeah, I think it's the wire. It feels like we're connected. We're safe.
Yeah, we're real safe. Just on a string.
Where is this?
Safe string.
It's much more safe.
When we were on the ship, it didn't have that sort of sway to it.
This is the one I want to get to.
Oh. How interesting.
So they meet a Loxodon, which is an elephant person.
The brief glimpse of a smile that had curled to his lips begins to fade, and just kind of starts fiddling with it again, and turns back to the door as it opens.
He has this elaborate earring.
As it starts to step out, I'm gonna try to swipe it. I'm gonna try
that
to
she steals,
and
it's
I
like
like it a lot.
ridiculous. She steals an earring that's like, so imagine an elephant ear on my face.
She's the one.
It's like from the top of my head all the way down. This earring is attached at the top and along the edge of the ear down to the bottom of the lobe. It's like there's no way she could pull this off.
+2. So.
Wow.
He exits briskly, making for such a large, you know,
Wait, what did she get?
beastly-looking entity.
Let's try that back. Anyway, she steals it successfully.
Quite gentle and quick. As he exits, a moment later, you can see Fern in her hand clutching this gathered chain of gold and silver with a particular symbol on it that looks almost like a metallic hammer with faces lightly carved on the edges of it.
Fern?
There's no way I would have allowed that in my game.
What?
So she's they have a conversation with her about being a klepto, and she steals things, and she hasn't been caught yet, so she thinks it's okay. This, I think Matt thought it was funny, so he let it happen, but I think they should have he should have like put well, maybe not. And it's entertaining, so I think he's allowing that to happen. That makes sense for a show. But in a regular campaign, allowing a character to be stealing things that they shouldn't be able to steal, there should be consequences for this. So the Loxodon, as soon as he walked away, he fiddles with the earring right in the scene before. It's his safety net. He would have fiddled with it again just on leaving, and I think he would have found that it was missing and turned back. I think Matt just didn't want to start combat at that point, possibly, or something else. But definitely, I would throw some consequences in for the characters, so they might be not so interested in stealing everything. Depends on your campaign, though. If you don't care about that stuff, then it can be funny and you can let it happen. What's this?
Natural 20.
Come on, man. Okay. Come on.
Yes. End the show right there.
Thank you for joining for campaign 3.
Yeah. That's it. One roll.
You stayed here last
kind
time.
of funny.
That's how you'd announce.
Okay, so at this point, Travis has still not appeared. People are freaking out. Why is Travis not there? It was not worth freaking out about, but it was kind of funny that people did, because he still doesn't show up for like what down here, like 23. They have some. What's this practice talking about?
Shadonna.
Well, you haven't arrived there yet.
Just practicing. Shadonna.
There you go.
Was that good? Yeah, that was good.
That was good.
Okay, map out. Oh, okay. This is the battle with the animated objects. So a bunch of animated objects attack. They jump into a fight. Battle begins. Civilians are all cosplayers. That's kind of funny.
And this individual is going to run inside of the inn and vanish.
They all dress like they can handle some shit, but when it really comes down, they're all taking. It's just cosplayers. Yeah. Just cosplayers.
They have conventions and sorry sometimes. Don't hate.
Hammer's made of PVC pipe.
Indeed. Finishing their go, fresh cut grass. You are up with Imogen on deck.
The item in front of us is what?
In front of you is a broom.
It's a broom. Okay.
And it's just like.
Okay, I'll do Shield of Faith, or as I call it, Shield of Help.
Rename spells. That's perfect for him. Okay, so let's first mini cannon.
Oh, you don't.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What's his name?
Oh, he dropped a mini and
Is that
broke.
mine?
Yep.
Amazing.
That's okay.
The casualty.
It's all right.
Yeah, it happens.
That's okay. Roll for an attack on that one.
Okay. How do I do this?
This whole fight is brought to you by West Elm.
I don't know what that reference is.
I don't make
If
it
anyone
as hard
knows
to
that
roll. You
reference,
make a save.
let me know
Yes.
in the chat.
That would be dexterity.
Dexterity.
12.
Yes. So it works.
Okay,
So yeah, it takes 3d8 bludgeoning.
Oh, here's the first chance of Laudna
Laudna's go.
doing some freaky shit.
The objects have gone postal, and I turn into a form of dread. I start to transform. Let me mark it off. Wait for it. And my bones start to crick and crack. And
Now, listen
you
off
see
the side here.
Laudna starts to extend even lengthier than she was, and even more spindly, and her fingers start to stretch and drip as a dark veil kind of comes over her face as black tears start coming out of her eyes. And
The fleeing folks that were heading this way run past you and scream even louder and run even faster.
don't worry, I've got you. I'm here to help. And
I love this about the character
start echoing
freaking out people.
cacophony of whispers, and I cast
And
Bane
Travis is
on.
notorious
I'm
for
gonna
being
go
freaked
for
out by
Bane on the rug.
scary shit like that and horror movies and stuff. So
on
they once took him through a haunted house, and he was just so freaked out. It was funny for such a large buff guy to be that scared by scary things. So he's freaked out by this character totally.
Fail.
I'm sure he's off screen
Which one? The knife he's in?
getting that.
It does.
on the kitchen knife, and let's do Bane on the sword. All things that feel more deadly.
I was born in real one.
Pain references.
I felt it coming.
I was born into this.
And which one? The knife he's in? It does succeed, I think, with a 16.
I can't curse a knife.
Sorry.
I just
Sharp
reach
knife.
down and pet the back of her creepy head. It's okay.
But those two, you can watch as the parts of them that are a bit frayed and damaged begin to almost unravel or begin to crack and break on their own as the magic seems to siphon away some of the enchantment that holds them aloft.
Okay, let's get this
Broomstick.
over with.
That's fine.
Sweep the leg!
So I
Sweep the leg on a piece of furniture.
I rolled a hit and I did hit.
Yep.
I'm also going to just.
Okay, here we go.
Coming from, shouting out into the fray. Travis, if you wouldn't mind.
So by this point, the chat has been freaking out, and then they finally get him in there, and they can calm down.
Let's go.
So, how do you enter, and if you wouldn't mind describing yourself?
Yes, for the good of Dressar, I will enter the fray with you. And you see a gentleman in his late 70s, early 80s, with beautiful silver-trimmed facial hair, a good receding hairline going, and a nice ponytail pulled tight in the back.
Is it cool,
nice,
Grandpa?
Nice purple refinery, a nice coiffed collar, and some burnt orange underneath. And he has a very elegant-looking walking stick in his hand, as well as a very beautiful-looking rapier on the other.
It's because he's dignified, not because he needs this.
That's right. So where would you like to... Well, first roll initiative, if you don't mind.
Oh, yes, that thing. I have a bonus to my initiative, so 12.
I got you.
That's a first.
Okay.
Cheers.
I didn't know it could do that.
Wait, you didn't have initiative?
No, I had advantage.
Good advantage.
Okay. So, top of the round, Dorian, you're up. Orem, you're on deck.
Alright, so let's
so
get
I'm-
this
two of my
comment.
friends
So,
are jacked up side by
I'll just
side.
pause
I'm
here.
going to
So Travis is playing Bertram Bell, which if you have watched, and this is a critter kind of inside point, when campaign 1 was finished, they did something, I think, as part of the Kickstarter for the animated series, where one of their stretch goals was they would do a search for Grog. I think there was something where Grog had pulled out one of the cards in the deck of many things and was sent to another dimension. I think it was Pandemonium. And so the group, they did this one shot where the group would get together and go to find Grog in that other dimension. And they needed someone for Travis to play, so he made up a character that came along with the group, who was a bit of a, guy who fancied himself an adventurer and wanted to be associated with a popular adventuring group such as Vox Machina after they had defeated in the Chroma Conclave and Vecna. They pretty much saved the world a couple of times, and so he wanted to ingratiate himself with them and call himself a member of the group. So he joined, and he was in that adventure until they found Grog and came back. I won't spoil that for anybody who hasn't seen it, but he was in basically 2 episodes, and so he brought this character back, which is I think 30 years from that time, and he was a fairly old guy at that time, so he's now about like 80 or something, so he definitely should not be so spry, but maybe that's why they made him a reason for why he had such a lower level, because he would have been like 17th or 18th level at that time to be able to go on that adventure. So now he's, I think, level 5. But I feel like, and this is a bit of a spoiler for the later episodes, but I feel like he had a purpose for bringing this character in this way, and we'll see that in a later episode. For now,
I'm gonna rush toward Fern. Use
let's
my
just
movement to
jump
get
to
all the way
where
over
he
to her, wrapped up in
acts.
the rug.
Okay.
And bewildered, I will attempt to grapple the rug and try to pull it off of.
And try.
Okay, I'm gonna use a bonus action to make a fainting attack, another maneuver, and go to the left, and then instantly.
Fainting attack.
It is a fainting table.
I'll juke to the left, and then
It's
instantly
actually
back to the right.
fainting
Once
table.
the blade goes for where I was, I will spring up into the air, and then I will just repeat what I did before and try to smash it down with my blade into the stone.
Go for it. One attack.
So it's an advantage because of the feint. That is that hits. That's
Okay, how do you want to do this on a table? It's kind of
and that's a total
ridiculous.
5 plus 6 is 7. 15.
15. How do you want to do this?
But it was the first one
Orem
of
jumps
the new season.
12
So.
feet into the air, flipping, and cracks the blade from the hilt on the pavement below.
It snaps and scatters across the stone.
Oh, he was attacking
Broken
a blade?
Table. Shit. And I just stand my ground.
All right.
That run's gonna hurt me.
You got it. Fern, you're up.
Okay, am I still blinded?
You are no longer blinded. The rug.
The board. Big guys. Look for me at dawn on the 3rd day, like here.
This way. Alrighty. Fresh cut grass. You are up. Imogen, you're on deck.
Jesus.
All right.
I don't know how.
Never gets old.
We'll see. I'm gonna.
Yeah, that name, I don't know how they're gonna.
Really will.
I mean, wait till we get to the episode where he describes the other names of the other automatons. It's quite funny.
Is that what that is? I
Okay,
will
let's see.
make something that most kitchen knives can't stand, which is a tomato.
This makes
It's
no
really
sense.
hard. It's really, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not serrated. So,
There you go.
So a tomato will attack this knife.
We'll say a
kinda get it,
spiritual
but
tomato
it's
apparates. I don't have a tomato mini. My apologies.
It looks
but that'll-
really close to
He
it.
doesn't have a tomato mini.
I'm sorry, Travis.
Time off.
10 times 2.
Oh,
I saw the one figured out it was one.
2.
How do you want to do this?
Fuck that knife.
Just for a second, my eyes.
No. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
No, don't do that. That's not good.
I'm
Alright,
gonna fuck
what's
the
this?
rug.
Yep.
It seems like more of a problem. Eldritch Blast to the rug.
Blast.
14.
14 does it.
All right.
Hey.
So here's a weird one. Okay, all right, that's fine. 9 damage.
9 damage. How do you want to do it?
Free, how do you want to do this on
Well, I
Adventure
was going to
Furniture?
say, because of my
Crazy.
form of dread, it would have to make a wisdom saving throw or be afraid of me. But since I kill it,
It's so afraid of you, it's
yes,
dead.
I just I
Can't get
look
more afraid.
into the rug's eyes, or where I perceive its eyes to be, its tassels, and I just look deep into it as I just coat it with black ooey.
7 points of
Creepy.
slashing damage.
Nice. Twice carving into it as I spray my map.
Thank you, sir.
That's
Go to the map
I don't
on the
say anything, but I saw Laura go.
Drink of my blood.
It's gonna be on the big screen.
Yeah.
God.
Slow-mo.
Sorry. Anyway.
We'll get the first one.
3D. Yeah. Flash zone.
Spit never heard anything.
Oh my god, it's done. Okay. That's 7 points that don't
Okay,
get
he
doubled.
smashes the table.
7 standard. And then 18 doubled.
Wow.
So 18 and then
And then double the 18 and then add 7.
There you go.
wanna do
Brinton
this?
Bell's first introduced the search for Grog
I am
campaign one
going
shot.
to spin around, knock all 4 feet out, flip over, crack it in half, and then just keep hitting it until it's powdered.
the table snaps with a loud cracking noise, and then smash, smash.
Look at this though. This description.
smash over and over
It's a
again.
table.
This table just
Like,
eventually is reduced.
if
to
I was
a
doing
pile
this
of
encounter, I would be
splinters.
getting through this encounter as fast as possible and just saying the table's destroyed. I would. But he goes into it just because everything matters for description for a DM like that.
Very well done, all of you. That was very impressive. That's quite the hammer you have there.
Thanks, old person. Yeah. What the fuck was that?
No idea.
Oh, yeah. No, do you need... Oh. No.
Just a training exercise of some sort. You're right, this is terribly rude of me. I was just so excited seeing you all. My name is Sir Bertrand Bell. It's a pleasure to meet all of you.
You're a knight?
Are you a noble?
Not a noble. A knight is generous, but it was a title bestowed upon me and I didn't shoo it away.
Who bestowed it on you?
Are you familiar with Vasselheim?
Oh, you're not going to answer my question.
I'm so sorry.
Who bestowed it on you?
I don't know if you would...
Look at Sam. The first time he introduces his new flask, it is a gas can.
I mean, we knew that already.
You know,
Has he had that over there?
look at Matt's face. He like, how did he hide this so that Matt did not see it? Like he snuck it in there and then pulled it out just to like give everybody a laugh. Like, I love this guy.
It looks like it's like out of Borderlands or something.
Yeah.
What do you have on the front?
Oh! Yeah.
But it was a
His
brand
face, he
new,
loves doing it too.
clean container when you started and you just
Yeah,
gussied
listen
up
to
the
this.
outside,
What
right?
is that?
That's right.
You're drinking out of it?
Oh, yeah.
That's really cool.
Did you get that at the Warner lot? What is that?
I don't know if that's a real
Yeah.
gas can, but
Sorry about that.
that's
I'm
impressive.
sorry, you said Vasselheim? I'm not familiar.
Are you familiar with the Dawn Marsh?
And if you're not like a Critical Role longtime fan, the flask thing started, I think, in campaign 1, where a fan gave him a flask, and then another fan sent him a larger flask, and then another fan sent him a larger flask because he was playing a halfling. No, he was a gnome, and in campaign 1, and then he started like it got escalated and escalated. I think he used to drink out of in the first campaign it was a really large mug, and then in the second campaign, playing Not, he had a flask, and his flask was magical. He could like make it. It was eventually he bought a magical flask that would have unlimited alcohol, and ended up getting another the magical one, and then a fan gifted him, or maybe he bought it himself. He found this gigantic flask. It was, you know, easily the size, almost the size of that gas can there. And so every episode he would put some kind of when it started with the mug, he would put some sticker on the bottom of the mug that was a joke that someone watching the show could get. So he would drink it like this, and you'd see the bottom of the mug, and then he'd bring it down, and you'd have to like go back and pause to see what the message was, or a picture, or like a funny, you know, joke about one of the other cast members, or something that was happening in the campaign. And then he did the same thing with the flask. He put it on the side of the flask, so he'd pull it out, have his drink, and then it would be every episode there'd be a thing. And then he's obviously continuing that tradition with the gas can, and he's got a little like chalkboard there, so it's a little easier for him to do his messages and whatnot. So that's just the kind of stuff he does, and he's really good at getting a running joke and continuing it. It's awesome.
That's right.
You smell a little bit like piss.
Oh, very astute. Earlier today, a gentleman threw piss at me.
Why?
Yes. Yeah, bring that back. That is gross. That's all we need to say about that. Okay, let's get near the end of this thing. I guess I'm going to wrap up after this, because this took a lot longer than I thought. So, what else did I want to get into? Oh, the earring changed hands. So, at this point,
I try? Yeah. Here's a gold piece.
Thank you.
Okay, and then he...
Sometimes it takes a while.
Who takes it?
It's mostly just a sparkly opal in there. I am going to try and pickpocket her, though.
Okay, go for it. Sleight of hand check.
He meets me.
You can roll a perception. Or no, what's your passive perception?
Okay.
You got it.
15.
Natural 20.
So he takes the earrings, so now it's past change
really,
hands.
Really cool view. You can see this sparkly.
I don't really know what
interior beyond
the
this
point
kind
of that
dirty
is, but
glass that fills
he's just
this
being
kind of broken gap in the head.
that kind of character.
Go ahead and deduct 12 gold.
Oh, I know what I'm going
What are you
for.
going for?
Orm, one line
Relax
master.
just for a second, looking down at the rug. Really tied the room together.
Great. Good one-liner. Okay. Okay, so then they get to the break. So they did get to Travis before the break. I mean, these breaks are worth talking about too. This is pretty cool. I can't wait to see this series. I'm glad I already have Prime Video, so I'll be able to watch this. But I think they had something special for people who backed it. I backed this Kickstarter, by the way. Maybe next episode I'll show my the stuff I got for it. It's pretty cool. So yeah, the anime. It's gonna be good, I hope. I hope they... I mean, with the team involved, I think it can't really... I mean, they're all voice actors, so I don't see how it could be bad. They know their story, they know the thing so intimately. It's not gonna be a difficult thing to do.
We now go live to a special address from the president.
Yeah, I don't know about this bit.
Now's your president? I've been kind of killing it lately. I get.
Yeah, Gale. I don't know. It's a funny bit, but it's, I don't know. I keep pulling it out, and I don't think it's that good. So, break ends.
So, last we left off.
We're only halfway through. I should really jump ahead.
Motley crew of strange traveling individuals that gathered.
So the group's together now, so it's all good.
An odd occurrence in the street. cut down some wayward enchanted utensils and furniture pieces, and in doing so caught the eye of an older adventurer named Sir Bertrand Bell, who is currently leading you on the invitation of a meal and drink to discuss some possibilities. You all follow him into the Aspire by Fire Tavern. Managed to procure a table in the kind of back elevated platform in this little kind of side nook. Not quite a booth, but at least...
Okay, let's get Londa's attention.
Seem to be drawing anyone's attention.
Your entrance definitely drew some eyes.
Yeah. You're a fucking nightmare. What are you talking about? I'm having problems.
Yeah, Travis.
I have a grudge over here.
So you definitely drew some eyes, and every now and then you do catch somebody kind of just glancing over, but there's nobody that you've noticed like stooping close yet.
So you live here?
Okay.
Oh, I don't want to speak to the manner in which you would be put to service, but Lord Esteros is a bit of a philanthropist.
He's very old.
My dentures get loose.
Just getting in the way. You know, the Bertrand Bell character, I mean, he was kind of funny in the one shot. I thought it was, you know, a good new thing for Travis to do because he'd been playing Grog for so long, and so it was cool. Then in this episode, I was like, yeah, all that wait for that seemed a little bit, you know. Yeah, it was all right.
No.
Just all right.
My former associate gave me my name. She named all of her creations after her favorite smells.
Favorite smells.
There was a bunch of us. There was me. There was oatmeal. There was apple pie. There was pussy. There was a bunch of us.
Wow.
It's so nice to see other people having to hear this. It's really just bringing everything into sharp perspective.
He's loving
it. A day.
That's a bit by surprise.
I wish I could hear what they said. If I can
hear this, it's really just bringing everything into sharp perspective.
This has been a day.
He's snorting.
That took me a bit by surprise.
This has been a day.
What was your name?
Oh, it was just thrown out there so quick.
Did you say said help?
I didn't hear that either.
My name is Fern. Yeah. It's so fun. I've heard of creatures like you.
Oh, you have? Have you ever met another automaton such as myself?
No.
But you've heard.
Mm-hmm.
I've only met the ones that my former associate created, so I haven't gotten a chance to talk to many others. So if you ever hear of any, I'd love to meet more.
I'll make sure to let you know.
Thank you.
What's your name?
Oh, I'm Imogen. Timold.
Timold. Okay. Nice to
Like
meet
what you did with the lightning, that was pretty cool.
Thank you so much. You know, I've been working.
Ashton came along when they did.
Soul touched?
Oh yeah. That's folk like you, with souls.
Yeah, call some soul touched. I like that.
Soul?
I would assume not.
How do you know?
Well, I can't do a lot of the things that you can do.
Were you sad?
Go meet this Lord. Damn it, I keep forgetting his name. Esteros.
Yes. I fell asleep.
Making these old jokes. It's pretty funny. Definitely Travis is playing up a humor character. He wants to have some of that. He's quite good at it, so he didn't get to do it much with Ford. He, I think, missed it from Grog because there's a lot of funny Grog stuff. Well, it's right over there.
As I remember.
They can, yeah. You have rooms.
This place is great.
How far are we from here from Estros Manor?
You're probably about 15 to 20 foot walk from here.
Oh.
It's how far?
We're right. We're
Did you say 20 feet?
We're here. We're
20
minute walk.
Right, my brain.
Yeah, I got that right away when he said
Let's
it,
go
but
nuts.
it's funny.
Private rooms.
Oh, I mean, I don't need that, but sure. You know, whatever you
Just go for it. Just paying.
Private.
It doesn't
One
matter
for each of you?
It matters to me, yeah.
Nobody.
Let's jump ahead.
She's in the process of finishing cleaning out dishes.
Nighttime. The set was another thing. So this set is so cool. I love the lanterns. I love the wood and the backgrounds. It's a really nice set. They're obviously really happy about it, but the lighting thing, that is so cool. But it does wash out their faces, but I kind of don't care. I think the lighting effect is more important than that. And in this episode, it shows night really well. They even have stars in the background. It's like really cool. And just that feeling, you get the idea of what's going on in the scene when he changes the lighting. Something I'm sure any gaming group would love to have. I'm so jealous of them to be, able to set all this stuff up. I mean, even when they first started, having like multiple cameras trained on people and having a crew to like manage that, like right off the bat, the first episode of Critical Role had this, from the what was it called, Geek and Sundry people. They already had been doing shows for a long time, and so to bring them in and get them to do the show in their studio, it was like great that they could have that already. Most people trying to run their own game at home to stream, it's like you got to do something like what I'm doing, where you use Fantasy Grounds or something like that as the like your board, and then I'm using Discord as the way to talk to people, and it's fine. It just isn't. You can't do this kind. Oh, sorry, that one's next. I'll do that one next time. Yeah. Anyway, it's awesome that they have the set, that they have the cameras, they have the quality of the production level. Like, I'm still struggling, as you can see, to just get some nice borders around stuff. And I'm using a standard font here. It's pretty Mickey Mouse, but it's good for what I'm trying to do. Anyway, let's jump ahead. So Haley meeting Shadana. That was, I think, Lord Estron's house servant. Waking up Bertrand.
Bertrand's room. Give it a little gunk 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 gunk.
First ship, right?
Yes.
Bertrand is naked.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's 7:30. Were you asleep?
7:30 in the morning?
No, it's barely.
Oh yeah, no.
We just saw each other 30 minutes ago downstairs.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Who are you?
I feel really.
Oh yes. No. I remember. I'm sorry. I work a lot during the day.
Sure.
How can I be of service?
Gosh, this is stupid. You said that you know a lot of talent here in town. You soak that really bad interaction in for a second. Fuck. I walk down the hall and I find Dorian and Fern. Come with me. We show up at your door.
Oh.
Can we talk in your room for a minute?
Yes, come in.
Okay, so they chat out thing. They talk about.
Yeah. Let's go. Come on. We'll definitely sleep better.
Is Kalyan playing cards?
Currently, yes. Have you guys come to your rooms?
I'm with Ashton.
So
if we're still down,
this is a new thing
I dropped
that
my
I've
stuff off and went right. I was
not
going to go right back down.
heard about before, which is odd because I've watched all
I'd be looking
the
downstairs
episodes,
for
so
anyone
season campaign 1 and campaign
looks
2.
really, really tipsy, like super tipsy or drunk. Is there anyone?
At this point in the day, there's one person really drunk. It's like 8:30ish.
Getting
it's
to it.
still early.
Still
all right. Well,
I
I
can
ain't gonna
see
stay
Matt's
down there until I
hand
see
there.
someone who's really
That's funny.
looking bad.
Okay.
And I'll just kind of watch.
It's funny when the
watch
cameras
out.
cross
Okay, we'll
over.
say
It's
between
really
these conversations and such. And
yes,
about, like,
he sounds there.
9:30, maybe pushing 10 or so. You guys get down there.
They should
while
adjust the
you've
camera
been-
angles there a bit.
I saw that there's a card game going on, and I'm going to bet against the tower.
Okay, so you're just carousing.
Oh yeah, this is good fun. I got some money in my pocket, so I'm going to blow
Okay.
it.
Roll a 20 for me. How much are you into?
I rolled 10.
How much money are you into?
Oh, I got 10 gold in my pocket to burn.
Sure. You lose 5 of it.
Fair.
Was that just? Is that rollies? Did we just play rollies?
Just played rollies.
Oh
I assume that's over a long
so
stretch.
addicted to rollies.
Guys, rollies is the greatest game that we invented.
We'll tell you about it. It's pretty exciting.
You heard it here first. Rollies.
So, whatever this is, it's pretty funny. I made up my own version of this after seeing this episode a few weeks later, and my girls were playing. I was trying to get them to play some. I have a game that is like D&D. It's called Princesses and Palaces, and so I've been trying to get them to play it again lately because they've been very. I wanted to get them into D&D early, so I got them into it when they were 5. And with the kind of introductory game system that I sort of borrowed / made up that involves just contested rolls for everything and on the various dice. And so they were really into it for a while. We did a whole bunch of stuff. They leveled up a few times. I didn't really have a system for leveling up or anything, so I just kind of gave them various rewards as they leveled up. New spells and new abilities that I just thought fit their characters, but I never planned it out or balanced it or anything, so now they're kind of a little bit overpowered, and yet they still think that if they see a miniature come out, the size of the miniature is what would scare them. So if I pull out a big minotaur figure comparative size to their regular figure, they would think that was a difficult thing to defeat, but over the time they've kind of gotten over that, but it still kind of scares them off whenever I try to put a challenging battle in front of them. They're so powerful individually, plus they each have 3 extra pets that they can use, and the pets are now pretty powerful that they have, so their games just it's ridiculous how easy it is for them. And so they keep trying to nickel and dime me with how many characters I put on the board and stuff like that, as enemies. And so I decided to have a low consequence game experience with them. So I had them their characters played a game which is similar to this Rollies, where they would put some of their, and with them I have their character money is actually, I use poker chips for them, so I give the money physically to them and they put it in a container, and that's their character's money, and so they can pull it out and use it. It's very visceral and easy to keep track of. So we have it in a container, and it's always for the game. And so I had this game where they could put out some money, and then we would all roll dice and see how we could who would win. And so we would basically put everyone would ante at one chip, and then we would roll a d20, and then they would see what they got and know which number is higher, and then we would roll after that a d12 and add that to the total. But before we rolled the d12, we would bet again and so they could bet or they could let their money go, and so they wouldn't be able to win it. And so they would bet, and then we'd roll the d12, add it together. And so we played this a few rounds of this, and then we'd go down to the next lower dice, so it would be d20s and d12s, and then we would do d10s and d8s and d6s and d4s, and then restart again at 20s. And it was kind of a really simple and easy gambling system. I was like, this is not a bad rule set, but I think I would change it by putting the first die to be the lower one and the second die to be the higher one. But other than that, it seemed like it would be a fun mechanic for gambling, simplified. So I'm going to try this in another context sometime. But similar to probably what they have for their rollies. They haven't explained what it is, but something they used for a gambling mechanic, other than actually playing cards or dice. So that's cool that they have a thing, and I thought of my own. I think that kind of thing is really important to having fun in a game. Alright, let's skip. I swear I'm going to end this episode soon. So he's bad at rollies. FGC is psycho.
I'm really interested in digging in with them and seeing what they got going on, because there seems like a lot of backstory there.
This is why we're friends. I can't wait to see what sort of shit you uncover.
And I'll turn to the half giant, or I apologize. I did see all of your cards, so you might want to just reshuffle and redeal. They're very poor cards.
You have a tell.
Sure. In folds. Roll again. Well, first before you roll, what's your? You still have 5 more gold usage. You're ready to burn.
Okay. Oh, this is funny. So
Jordan, fetch my whiskey.
Don't know it, and I just start.
yes, yeah, for if anyone has a request, so he doesn't know the song.
Make a performance check.
He just plays anyway, and he doesn't.
That would be a 1.
He rolls a natural 1. So he does poorly. This is the funny thing with him, is he has a really good bard character, but he just has some really bad luck. So he has a bad performance. People feel sorry for him. It's funny. Fern and Prescript Bass fail at cheating. That's a funny one.
Okay, so I'm just going to try to stand between the two of them so I can see their cards.
Okay, make a perception check from that distance. Actually, make 2 checks for me. Make a stealth check, and then a perception check.
And I'd like to just see if I notice her doing this.
Okay, make a perception.
I'm making a stealth check. Okay.
First.
12.
Okay, what'd you roll?
17.
You definitely see her doing this.
Okay. And now what am I'm rolling a... What was the other thing?
Perception.
Perception. Okay. Oh no. 10.
10. The Pachyderm, towering Calian, as you know.
Come on. Okay, anyway, they fail at cheating. It's funny.
Weird thing.
I definitely exist. This isn't a dream.
Weird. It just goes along. Doesn't even argue.
I don't know how to ask this.
Waste.
Byproduct?
Oh, that's a fine question. I mean, sometimes I have to consume
How this
rocks
robot
that
works,
have
hilarious.
metal in them, and the rock part that I don't really need, the minerals that I don't use, I just sort of.
Oh, you puke it back out.
Like an owl.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's sometimes it takes a little while to get it up. So if you hear me go, that's why.
Almost.
That's why I'm doing that.
That's why, huh?
Yeah.
Just wondering how long it was going to commit.
No.
That was just in 5.1 surround sound.
Do you have control over when you regurgitate, or is it just whenever the spirit moves you?
No, I can control it. If it disturbs you, I can do it when I'm alone.
I mean, no, it's fine.
Okay. Why he just comes up with so many, like, he's playing a robot, yet he still comes up with a lot of hilarious, things.
I'm sure it's this way. Follow me.
Oh my gosh.
Start making our way towards Esteros Manor.
We're gonna get lost, aren't we?
No.
Sir Bell? Mr.
Yeah. Can't find his way. And some backstory.
Two strong individuals moving about the city. What are you out for?
Oh, we just started, Lauda came through my town a couple years back, and we hit it off real well, and just decided to start traveling together, and, we like to tour around Marquette and just kind of see
more
different...
of that later.
So you're like...
Let's get to the Lord.
Voice goes.
Yeah, another lighting change, really good.
Sir Bertrand, it has been a moment since you stained my abode with your empty bravado.
Some jab there.
No, I can't imagine anyone would be looking. We came early.
Why do you return?
Well, Lord Esteros, I know you have a keen eye for talent and for those that might assist you in your endeavors, and I know it's been a few months since we last were able to work together, and I must say I don't know if you heard of the dust-up yesterday in front of the Spire by Fire, but these individuals here handled the situation marvelously.
So anyway, he hands over the group to his patron, and he questions them and makes them fight. And
then show me.
Oh shit!
Throws the cane up in the air and catches it.
Oh.
And rushes.
Ah!
And that's running the
Fighting old men.
So anyway, yeah, they meet Esteros, and he challenges them to prove themselves, and the episode ends.
Thank you for joining us, and it's Thursday up. Good night.
That's great. Look at this shot of this table, man. Ah, look at this setup. Like, he has the coolest DM screen. Got all his stuff there. He's got 2 Steam Decks. He's got like a bag full of dice. Box full of dice, a bunch of miniatures and stuff. I guess he now puts the miniatures on the desk so they can all reach them. Yeah, the setup of these guys is just so awesome. I can see now too that it's not like it is just a set, because there's like space for the camera here. They got like a lot of lighting stuff behind. Look at all these cameras and advanced equipment. Like, this is a big, production show, and it's a long way from this. Look at this. Freaking ads. Come on, man.
Hello everyone, my name is Matthew Mercer, voice actor and dungeon master for Critical
Geek and Sundry
Role and
set.
Geek and Sundry, where I take a bunch of other voice actors and run them through a fantastical fantasy adventure through the world of Dungeons and Dragons. We play every Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Geek and Sundry's Twitch
Still
stream.
doing that.
Please come watch us live if
Not
you have
there,
the
but
opportunity. Back episodes and future episodes will be uploaded on the Geek and Sundry website, so you can also check them out there. In the meantime, enjoy.
Welcome to the first episode.
And still check out Geek and Sundry because they still have some good stuff. I think you know, they had a good start there, and it's still a good show.
And what this basically is a continuation of our
channel.
weekly D&D game. Me and a bunch of other likely nerdy and enjoyable voice actors gathering around, rolling some dice, killing some creatures, having some adventure. And now we have the pleasure of bringing it on the stream for you to watch, enjoy, and occasionally interact with. So before we get to that, to give you a little backstory on the characters you'll be seeing this evening, we're going to play some videos for you in just a second. But do note, for all you hardcore gamers out there, a lot of this is house-ruled, kind of loosey-goosey, having a good time, so all you number crunchers, stop paying attention there. Just have fun with it. But nevertheless, we have some background story on many of the characters you'll be seeing this evening to kind of help you jump into the story. Let's go ahead and enjoy those in just a minute, and then we'll introduce the players. So, have fun.
Right, listen up. If you have a,
Oh.
then you have a friend.
They can't show the art anymore.
A Goliath of towering
That
height
is
and
interesting.
size. This barbarian has an appetite for the two great loves in his life: combat, women, and ape.
Huh. That kind of sucks.
But it's a great look, it's a lot of fun, and not everyone can make every game, so we have enough players to definitely fill a party each time. We're having an audio bottleneck.
Yeah, listen to the sound. Look at the video.
That's okay.
It's in a room with that something else was going on there. Like, not even trying to hide anything. It's like, wow, what a change from back then. But you know what hasn't changed? Well, I mean, they've changed a lot, but their acting is just as good back then as it is now. Yeah, it's definitely worth going back and watching if you have a chance. So, I've done my synopsis of episode 1. A few comments in between there. I love this show. The new show is great. It has started out well, and we're on to episode 5 now, so I've been just going back and recapping what I wanted to say about these episodes as I saw them. I won't do any spoilers of the next episodes, I'm just talking about this one. But there's some good stuff coming, and I can't wait to do the next one. I'm going to do it a little bit quicker. I think I'll, in advance, go through the highlights and pick out the things I want to talk about. Because I jumped ahead and found sometimes things just weren't as interesting as I thought. So yeah, I think I'll just stop there. So thank you for watching. Definitely check out the charity and donate if you can. It's definitely worthwhile donation. The hospital is, you know, excellent, and your money will be well spent there. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time on Vampire Logan Auspex. Have a good night or morning.